everybody. Happy Thursday to all of you out there in the Service Alliance community. It's your boy TK checking in, and as always, I got my girl Miss Ward with me. How you doing, Miss Ward?
Happy to be 6 feet above ground, bro. For real.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you guys and gals tuning in this morning. We're going to get right into it with some prayer and some scripture and go over delegation and outsourcing this morning. Talk about that. Talk about what we should be doing, what others on our team should be doing, and what we should maybe be outsourcing to outside contractors and things of that nature. Because I'll tell you one thing that I learned very early on, and that is that in business, you have to know what you should be doing in the long run of things. Because there's a lot that goes into running a business. Every person out there that started one knows that. So we're going to get into that this morning. We got a few folks checking in. Jeremy, good morning, brother. Always a pleasure to see you. We got this guy checking in. This fella here. My mouse doesn't want to cooperate. EJ Magic Mike Johnson in the house. We got North Appliance. I don't think I know who North Appliance is. Got a question. Do you ever feel some type of stress when having a long list of customers you need to go back to? Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm going to actually leave that up for a second because I love the fact that, number one, you asked that question. And number two, we have time to talk about it. But yeah, I absolutely do. And having your procedures and having your ACEs in place are going to help with that tremendously. Because once those jobs start rolling in and you're busy and the calls are continuously coming, but you got to get back with parts and you got to complete these jobs. It's just a specific balance you need to have of keeping the new people happy and keeping the people in the pipeline taken care of. And that's where those systems and procedures come into place. Because when you start forgetting customers and not getting back with the part and all that stuff, that's where the bad reviews come in. That's where the upset customers come in. So when you're the only one doing everything, it can be super stressful. But let me tell you how nice it is, because I'm just getting to this point in my business. It is so nice when you get to a point where everything's starting to run smoothly. And not perfect, still got a long ways to go. But man, when you get your aces in their places, like Zach Kreider always says, and things start running smooth, man, it's so much less stress. You got anything you want to add to that, Miss Ward? I didn't want to hog that question.
Well, really quickly, like you said, I second that about the systems in place. And this is why I'm always preaching about discipline. You know, in appliance repair, our goal is always one-stop completions if we can do that. That eliminates a lot of that by doing your triage, going out with the parts and being prepared to do the job. The other piece is prioritizing your customers. And for me, I prioritize, I have a specific avatar. I prioritize on profit and things of that nature because that's how I run a profit-driven business. The stress comes into play when things are not in order, as TK alluded to earlier. The key is everything needs to be organized in your life from the time you get up to the time you go to bed to what your steps are. You follow me? In reference to the repairs. But the stress comes in, like right now, I had a stressful morning because I got 7 jobs added. I'm trying to not only coordinate jobs for myself, but also for the people that I outsource work to in areas that I'm not going to be able to get to or what have you. So at the end of the day, that goes back to your systems. Can I order the parts? Do I have the resources? Have I triaged? Did I get the accurate information from the customer so that I know I'm triaging properly for the right repair? What's the most common failures? Like, it's a whole thing. And that's why training is so important, and being disciplined and knowing what jobs to take and what jobs not to. That's all I got to add, man.
You're 1000% right. It's so important. We sound like broken records, and I realize that when we get on here every week and we're talking about procedures and we're talking about all these other things, we sound like broken records. But we sound like broken records for a reason, because we want you guys to succeed, and we want you to learn. I'll say this for me. I personally want to see you guys not make the mistakes that I did. Because, man, once that work started rolling in, and other business owners warned me, once that snowball starts rolling down the hill and getting bigger and bigger, it can be stressful. And you better be ready. That's why I want to see a lot of you guys and gals out there do what I didn't do and get these procedures, because delegating and outsourcing is important. But what's going to make it so much easier is if you have your procedures and processes in place before you start delegating, before you start hiring someone to give these responsibilities off to. You have to have those systems in place. So anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves this morning. We haven't even prayed. So I love a good Miss Ward prayer first thing in the morning. So let's get prayed up. I'm going to share a scripture, and then we're going to get right into this thing.
Lord, thank you for covering us in all that we do. Lord, I want to send a special prayer out to the people who consider themselves the Lone Rangers. Lord, please touch their hearts and minds and give them the ability to see clearly in every decision. Lord, give us the ability to remove every distraction so that we can hear you clearly, so we can utilize discernment and make the proper steps every time. Lord, give us the ability to walk into the midst of chaos and confusion and stay true to our goals, our purpose, and our ability to be of service to you and your people. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Miss Ward. Good stuff. Well, we got a bunch of people checking in. Let's give some shout outs to our boy Adam Schwiegel in the house. Always good to have you, brother. Gary Parsons, good morning. Got our boy JoJo in the house. Here's a response from North Appliance. Because having to not take on new jobs because of follow-up suck, especially if it's a callback. Thank you for the answers. Yeah, and I hope our answers were helpful to you. But the short and sweet of it is, yes, we do feel stressed. Because at the end of the day, what we want is for our customers to have the best experience possible when calling our company. And, as Miss Ward said, our biggest goal is to get out there and get you fixed. And we want to do it on the first trip whenever possible. But, sometimes that's just not doable, whether it's parts availability, whether it's whatever the reason may be. Sometimes you got to go back. We do everything within our power not to, but when you do got to go back, getting those processes in place are going to be a game changer. Because it's going to make everything run more efficiently and smoothly. Dr. Dan said procedures can make or break a company, especially if you're doing any type of warranty. So true. All paperwork needs to flow through your office like fruit through a goose. I like that. Saying, fruit through a goose. That's a good one. Buenos dias, hermano. ¿Qué pasa? Dios te bendiga. But we're going to get into this scripture real quick. We're going to be reading from my favorite chapter or book of the Bible, Proverbs. For those of you that don't know, your boy TK loves a good proverb. I think a book of Proverbs a day is a powerful thing if you take the time to read it. But this is one of those proverbs that I think a lot of people breezed over when you read Proverbs, because it doesn't really stick out to you very often. But we're going to talk about it. It's Proverbs chapter 14, verse 4. It says, without oxen, a stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest. And, I was thinking about this verse and how it talks about, when you don't have these oxen, for those of you who don't know what this verse is talking about, back in the day, they had oxen. Instead of having tractors and horses, a lot of times they would use oxen to pull plows and do different things in the farming and agricultural stuff that they were doing. And it talks about how when you don't have the oxen, your barn's clean, the stable's clean, everything's, pretty and shiny. But at the end, it says you need a strong ox for a good harvest. If you want to get out there and when I look at this, I see the ox as symbolic of your team and the people around you that you use to get the job done. Because that's what the oxen was there for. He was there to make your job easier. Now, does it come with a little bit of more headache? Abso-freaking-lutely. I will tell you right now that if you are going to add to your team, if you're going to have those oxen out there doing things, getting stuff done, there's going to be more headache for you. But as we preach day in and day out to you guys, and we say this all the time, oxen are dumb animals. Hopefully you will hire some smart, intelligent people of character to follow your procedures. So you got to hand up because you have someone that's a little bit smarter than an oxen. Although I have hired people in the past that I'm not sure were much smarter than oxen. So there's that. But either way, when you're hiring those team members or you're outsourcing to other people, if you don't have the procedures and systems in place for them to follow, you're putting the oxen or the cart before the oxen, because once you start doing those things, you're going to have to backtrack and create the systems that you didn't create. And that is a headache. As someone who has done it and been in that situation, it is an absolute nightmare. So I wrote down a few things, and I want y'all to think about this, and then we're going to get Ms. Ward's input on it. When you are new in your business, or whatever, let's say whatever part of your business you're in now, whatever part of the evolution of your business you're in, whether you're in the beginning, whether you're starting to grow, whether you've been growing and you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, whatever you're dealing with, I want you to think about this. Where are you most effectively used in your business? What is the things that you do that, number one, make you the most money? Let's not sugarcoat this. We are in business to make money. If you are in business for anything other than to make money, you are in business for the wrong reason. I'm in business to make money. Ms. Ward's in business to make money. I didn't do this because I woke up one day and said, man, I just absolutely love fixing appliances, and I just want to go out there and fix every appliance in the world. No, I started a business because I wanted to make money to take care of my family, hopefully one day help take care of other people's family through my business, and be able to do the things that I want to do. So number one, what are the things that make you the most money? Number two thing that you need to ask is, what are the things that are the most time effective for you to do? Business owners waste way too much time doing tasks that they have no business doing because they're afraid to outsource or delegate it to someone. I have said this a million times. I absolutely suck at answering phones and scheduling calls. When I started growing my business, the very first thing that I did was found a rock star CSR and worked alongside her to get her basically running that aspect of my business. So number one, what makes you the most money? Number two, what saves you the most time, is most time effective for you to be doing? And I'm going to guess it's probably not answering phones. It's probably not checking in parts and making sure the parts get to the right job. I'm just guessing, but it's probably not going to be cleaning out a work van or something like that. So, and then lastly, and I don't want to breeze over this. Lastly, number 3, what do you enjoy doing? Do you want to be miserable every day? I'm not saying it's all going to be roses and flowers every day, no matter what part of your business you're in. But what do you enjoy doing? What are you passionate about? Because I can tell you one thing for me, when I wake up and I know that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make some customers happy today, I'm going to get to work with somebody on my team to help train them or something. I love training. It's one of the things that I absolutely love. I love doing ride-alongs with guys. I love being right in there with them, helping them to sharpen their skills and learning off of each other, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that I love doing and gives me purpose every day. I love going out and being with the customers, and dealing with. I even love dealing with the problem customers, because those problem customers are a challenge to me to go out there and make them love us again, oftentimes, because I don't mean to brag, but at Richmond Appliance Guys, we're really good at that. When something goes wrong, we're really good at bringing it back in and turning it into a positive. And it's not just me, it's my whole team that we really do a good job with that. So those are 3 things that I want you guys to think about. What do you love doing? What is going to be most time efficient for you to be doing? And what is going to make the most money? And make a list of those things. And then everything else on your list that you shouldn't be doing, start thinking about, do you want to outsource them or do you want to delegate them? Make you a list. I wrote this down as an example, but make you a list, whether it's on a big sheet of paper, a Google Doc, whatever, and start thinking about, what do I want to outsource? What do I want to hire within to have people within my actual team and do in-house? And what do I want to do myself? And then you'll have the right, at least mindset to start moving forward. And then, and I'm going to give it to you after this, Ms. Ward. And then once you've got all that down, start thinking, what systems and procedures do I need to put in place in order to get these things delegated out? Because I've been struggling over the years to get all my systems in place. And I've had people around me that are awesome with systems that have helped me. So I want to see you guys do better than me. I want to see you guys succeed like no others, and go out there and kill it, because it sucks to go back. It sucks to do things backwards. So if you're the one-man show out there like I was, start getting that stuff ready now. Start thinking about these things, because once it starts rolling and once you're inundated with work and you feel like you're drowning and your head's barely above water, it can get tough. Just like brother North Appliance over here said, it can get stressful. So that's a couple of things I wanted to share. If you've never done an org chart for your company, I highly recommend to do it. If you don't know what an organizational chart is, go online and research it. But it's basically just the different duties of your business and who's doing them now. And you might write out your org chart and realize, I'm doing everything. That's perfectly fine. If you're doing everything, start thinking about what you shouldn't be doing. Start thinking about what you can either hire or outsource that's going to make your company run more efficiently. I don't have to worry about whether my calls are getting scheduled properly, because I know I have someone delegated to that. And I have checks and balances in place to make sure things get done right. I don't have to worry about whether my parts are going to get managed properly, because I have a parts manager that I've trained and has procedures for everything, so it runs like clockwork. And as the things come up that are issues, you deal with them as they come. But you're only as strong as your team and your network. We say that all the time. I'm going to toss it over to you, Miss Ward. We do have Brother Fred Davila checking in. Always a pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you for tuning in. What do you think, Miss Ward? I know you're a big outsourcing person. How do you manage it all?
Well, the first thing I want to do is talk to the alphas like me. We hard headed, we know everything, and we don't want to change it till we have to. Because if we running up a bag and everything look good, we might have a hiccup here or there. We don't think we need systems. So I think that you know, I think that the key is to look in the mirror and realize you're an alpha. A lot of people feel like because we're smart, we're quick, we gonna run up we can get to 300 G's with no problem because we boom, boom, boom. But we don't realize what's going out the back door, what's going out the side door. We don't realize we have problems until we get pushed in that corner. So I want to speak to the people who, they got everything up here. They don't need to write nothing down because they boom, boom, boom until stuff starts slipping through the cracks. The reason I want to talk to you is because don't wait until it becomes a problem. Don't wait until you have to go back and fix it. When you're having issues, I understand the frustration of having a recall or follow up and things of that nature. What does that mean? That means tighten your game up. That means make a note. Okay, so I'm not in this position again. The other thing is I want people to be very careful when they get to the delegation stage, because a lot of times, like with me, because I had such a strong managerial background on a corporate level, I came in delegating. The problem with coming in delegating is when you're in the industry and you're expecting people to have a certain caliber of work ethic or just pure ethics, period, and you're giving people things to do and assuming they're done and you don't have follow-ups in place, then you got a problem. Then you're dealing with people who don't even understand what business look like. They just realize, okay, I'm gonna make 1,000 this week. I'm gonna make 1,200, whatever I got to do to get that bag. I'm gonna do it. Whatever she need to hear, I'm gonna tell her. And you ain't got no follow-up. Like, there's sides to this game. And what you got to understand, the first thing, as I always say, is you have to have self-discipline and you have to have structure in your own life, because there are times when people are going to let you down in the delegation process. You got to be able to keep it up, pick it up, and keep rolling. You got to be willing to hire somebody else and train them and understand sometimes you got to slow down to speed up. You got to slow down and train someone properly. And as you're training people, you need to be documenting what areas you miss. You can't assume that people are going to do what you would naturally do. And I think that's a lot of the frustration, particularly when you're a go-getter and you're used to doing it all on your own. You get frustrated because you be like, well, damn, idiot. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is what you don't understand is that the gifts that God has given you are your gifts. Everybody doesn't have it. You have to be able to write that stuff down and break it in layman's terms, and then put people in place and then celebrate their wins, manage them to the best of their abilities. And that's when you win. But I think that delegation and things of that nature is just a growing process and a maturity process for everyone involved. Because you have, like I just did a video on my channel about, are you just a tech or are you a businessman? That's a whole bar. Because the reality is we got guys who can fix stuff with their eyes closed. But then when it comes down to having to speak to a CSR and getting her to ask the right customers the questions from a customer, or going back and having them deal with a customer complaint, how are you talking to your CSR? How are you dealing with the people around you who support you and make you shine? And do you have soft skills? Do you have, because me, I'm rough as they come. I know I'm rough. And that's why I intentionally isolate myself, because when I have to deal with people, I have to bring out the softer side of Sears. And unfortunately, 99% of my life, I didn't need that. I just did what I needed to do. So you got to look in that mirror and see where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and then you got to adjust if you want to not only survive, but if you want to strive. But that goes back to maturity as a person, developing your emotional IQ, your intellectual bandwidth. Like me and TK always say, I can code switch out of corporate to thug. What you need? I got it. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is you got to have grace with yourself, and you have to, once again, understand your processes. If you have customers that are being left behind and you're getting frustrated, go back and say, okay, what can I do better? All it is an opportunity for you to grow and change. You had those experiences to be better, not to be stopped in your process or to stunt your growth. That's all I got, TK.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful because you hit on something I wrote down when you first started talking right at the end there. When you're growing and you're scaling your business and you're going through the fire as a company, every problem that arises is an opportunity to learn. And I know I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. When those problems arises, the absolutely worst thing you can do is get frustrated and just try to get past it, because it's a learning opportunity. So what I've started to do, and I've trained my team to do, and Beth already knows, like Beth knows me like clockwork right now. A problem arises, she already knows that I'm going to say, all right, what could we have done better? What did we do? What could we have done in this situation to have handled it better? Is there a crack in our systems? Is there a crack in our procedures and the way we're doing things? If the answer is no, and we did everything to a T, it's not an us problem. It's a them problem. But I'm always looking at, what did we do poorly? What system failed? Did we not call the customer back? Did we not communicate properly? Did the technician not do something in the house? Did we not get the proper information? Was the diagnosis not done properly? And then putting in checks and balances. Miss Ward just talked about it several times, but I want to make sure you guys get this. You cannot delegate something that you do not have a follow through and follow up procedure for, because you're just going to, and trust me, I learned this the very, very hard way. I was delegating things to people and I had no way to follow through with it. And there's still things in my company I need to work on with this. But when those problems arise, that's when you're going to see these things. That's when you're going to go in and look at these jobs and say, oh, hold on a second. I need to tighten up this area. This customer called back 3 weeks later wanting an update on a back ordered part. Why is that customer calling me? Why have I not called that customer with a parts update? This was a recent one for me. I'm talking from real world experience. We had several customers all of a sudden start calling in asking about parts, and we were pretty thorough about doing it. And there was a flaw in my system. And so what I did is I went back, I got with my parts manager. We looked at what our processes is, and we made a simple adjustment. We added one tag to our work keys procedures, part on back order, and we run a report for it once a week now. So once a week my parts manager goes in, runs the back order part report. Every person on that list gets a call. Hi, Ms. Johnson. This is so-and-so from Richmond Appliance Guys. Just wanted to let you know, unfortunately, your part's still not in. It looks like it should be in the next week or so. Just wanted to give you an update. It's little things like that, guys. It's the little things that you just don't think about until they arise. But the worst thing you can do is get stressed out and frustrated. It seems like the easiest thing to do at the time, but just sit back, take a deep breath, and look and say, what could we have done better? And also think about this, and I'm going to leave you with this one. Think about what you're doing, your company is doing that you shouldn't be doing. What should you be outsourcing? Completely out of your company. I'm talking about pay somebody else to do it. I'll tell you two things right now I can almost guarantee you shouldn't be doing is your books and your accounting. You're not an accountant or a bookkeeper. If you are, great. Good for you. But TK's not an accountant. I'm not a bookkeeper. I don't want to be good at those things. I have zero interest in them. So anyway, I could ramble on about this for forever, because I truly think this is one of those things when it comes to delegation and outsourcing and putting together the org chart of your business and how your business looks on paper. It's so important, guys. It's one of those things, just like your SOPs and your docs and everything else. It doesn't seem important until you realize it's important. And when you're a one-man show and you're out there rocking and rolling, it can oftentimes say, I got this, I'll figure this out as I go. Just learn from my mistakes and start doing it now. Start figuring these things out now. So when you start growing, you're ready. But anyway, we're going to wrap this thing up. Miss Ward, as always, I appreciate your help. I appreciate you being a good friend to me. All the solid steppers out there, we appreciate y'all tuning in every week and checking us out. If you have not subscribed to Miss Ward's channel, go over to Solid Steps for Wealth. She puts out videos all the time, always dropping some golden nuggets for us. As always, if you haven't been over to the servicealliancegroup.com, check us out over there. We've got all these SOPs. We've got all these documents. We've got all the text sheets you need. We've got courses for you to take to up your game. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We always want to hear. Oh, I almost forgot my boy Zach Kreider chimed in. Good morning, Mr. Kreider. Always a pleasure. And we will catch you guys next time. Have a great day and peace.